All right, guys, what's going on? This is Beer Today, Beer Tomorrow. We are back at it, episode 2 in the brand new season. Excited to be in Astoria, one of my favorite places in the whole world. We're here at Judy and Punch. We're with Perry. I'm with El Otro Pete. Guys, how you doing?
Doing well, Back in Queens again, I see.
Absolutely.
Best place to go. Also one of my favorites. I didn't live here like you, but we went to high school here way back in the day, and no better place to be. So,
absolutely. And we were the very, very special guest. Sir, please introduce yourself.
Awesome. I'm Colin. I'm the head bartender of Judy and Punch. Born and raised in Scranton, Pennsylvania, but have lived in Astoria now going into my 6th year.
Respect. Astoria, Queens, love it. So, tell us, how did you first get into craft beer? What was your passion there?
Growing up, I had a big passion for the arts and was doing a lot of things in theater. And, so we went to college. The first way to prepare for a good theater career is get a restaurant job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what they say. Oh, you're an actor? Awesome. At what restaurant? So, started with that a little bit throughout college. And I was fortunate. I went to school right outside of Philadelphia, and friends of ours worked at Victory Brewery Company, so
Nice.
They have a near and dear spot to my heart. And growing up, we had Yingling or you had Lion's Head, or my uncles would always drink Heineken or whatever, like other like cheap, easy stuff they can get their hands on. And thankfully, with being close to Victory and everything through college, Natty Light left my hand pretty fast, and the Prima Pills and everything else entered, and you finally started learning what different flavors were and what to look for in beers, and not
so
that
you
there
picked
wasn't
up on
just
it early.
Yeah, which I was a little fortunate, but I didn't dive into the beer community until I moved to New York, and basically it was just I had bartended at other spots, but everyone wanted you to have 2-3 years bartending experience in New York.
Wow.
So finally just did the smart thing and lied on my resume and just changed everything that said server to bartender, and then lo and behold, all of a sudden bartending jobs started falling into the lap.
Wow.
And it was kind of like a fake it till you make it type thing. Long story short, just happened to come in here one day on a Wednesday and just happened to ask while we were sitting at the bar. I was just saying, this is a really cool spot, and it was a few months after opening, and I asked if they were hiring, and they had just had a meeting 40 minutes beforehand saying they need to bring one guy on just to help with shifts. And lo and behold, a little over 3.5 years later, I'm still here. And it's great. Thank you.
That's some serendipitous shit right there, man.
It's great. I mean, and living in the neighborhood and working in the neighborhood has made the biggest difference. I mean, not having a commute to work in the last 5 years over a 20-minute walk is
amazing.
It is a beautiful
not
thing.
to sound cheesy, but it's life-changing.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
So, 100%. And, it's my favorite part working here is there's a lot of favorites, but my favorite is living in the community, working in the community. Going to another bar in the community or a restaurant and running into people that from here and knowing them on a first name basis and stuff like that. It takes the big city feel and shrinks it right back down to the nice humbling hometown feel.
Right on, man. Right on. And now taking a step back, so when you came here, you said you got into the craft beer scene. So do you remember what the beer was that kind of really put you on to the New York craft beer scene?
I don't remember what I don't want to say it was one specific beer, but Grimm. I can definitely
Grimm?
we've been with Grimm
Great
since
choice.
day one of opening, and we've gotten a lot of their stuff through. But if I had to pinpoint one, it would probably be the Lambo Door. I've had it in can, I've had it in draft, and it's just
Good stuff.
a home run every time. So I would say that was the first one that kind of gave me the holy hell, this is what flavor tastes feeling. But if I had to pinpoint anything, it would be Anderson Valley for sours. That's when I started, not just saying, can I have an IPA? Can I have an IPA? I used to think sours just tasted like, whatever went bad at the bottom of the keg that you stored outside overnight. And, You know what I mean? And then just strained it. And I thought it was disgusting. And now it's what I reach for. Now it's one of those, you leave the house and it's phone, wallet, keys, Zantac. Because I know I'm going to have a handful of sours, and later that's going to be creeping back up on me.
Absolutely.
That's the thing with that. I mean, listen, over time, they've definitely developed and become much better. When we first started doing this, sour was One of our first guests called. She said it tasted like bile. So, it's come a long way.
It takes a while. Like when sours took a while for me to really get with it. One of the first few times I had a sour, I couldn't even finish it.
Yeah.
It was just like, what is this?
Right.
But over time, the breweries that are doing well-made sours, like you come to really, really appreciate it. So I actually, my appreciation for sours have grown leaps and bounds. But every time we badmouth sour, I know Perry just cringes because he is like the sour king. This man loves his sours.
I was just at the Captain Lawrence Sour in September. There's 40 breweries there, all with decent to amazing sours, depending on some of them that they were there to be part of the party, to be honest, but they still had decent sours to throw together because almost every big brewer out there, especially over the summer, just makes sense. It's perfect for a summer beer.
It's great. I mean, if you make it right, it's easy drinking, it's refreshing, and not too much.
And it doesn't even have to kill your tanks now because you can kettle sour.
No,
it doesn't have to be a full program if you just want to kind of dabble.
Yeah, and I remember we have the majority of our lines rotate. And when I first started working here, if we put a sour on, you knew it was going to be there for a week or so, just because people weren't reaching for it. And I mean, not only just sours, but saisons and things like that along the lines. They would just sit. And over the last 3.5 years, just the beer community and the knowledge and everything else that has gone up, now everything's moving. It doesn't matter what it is.
Have you seen like a slowdown on IPA consumption, or it's still
a little bit? People want less bitter. Bitter is the one main word that I hear the most of. I want an IPA, but I don't want bitter. I want a beer, but I don't want bitter. And I think it was because the IPAs kind of turned into like the whiskey trend, where everyone was drinking bourbons like crazy for forever, and then they went to the IPAs, and then the IPA was like, okay, great, let's see how much we can hop it and how high we can get the ABV instead of just thinking, okay, maybe some people want to go out and have 5, 6.
That's the thing.
And sit outside in the heat.
I love a double IPA every now and then, but if we're watching the fight on Saturday, I'm not going to drink 3 or 4 of those because I'm going to go.
Yes, you will.
Right afterwards.
Yes, you will.
Shut up. But that's why I think the New England IPA fad is kind of taking over now because it's less bitter, more flavor, more aroma, and just. They're solid beers, man. I like this a lot. I could drink this all day. I don't know what the ABV on this is. I probably should know because I'm driving.
Well, what do you drinking right now? Tell our audience.
I forgot the name.
It's the Edmund Oast. It's a nice hazy New England IPA, and I believe it's 5.2. So
that's not too bad.
You're still in the okay range.
Yeah,
don't quote me on that. That is not. That is not a get out of jail free card.
When the cops pull him over, be like, listen, he said it's
that
in the
guy
acceptable
told me
range.
It's 5.2. So I guess I can.
He took.
Yeah, right. No, actually, when I had that beer before we got on the show, and I was telling him that I thought it almost like it tasted. It felt like a session, really. It was like light. There was less bitterness. It was definitely enjoyable. Definitely something that, again, sessionable. You could have a few and be fine.
Yeah, and that's another thing. I mean, now I feel like I'm talking more about drinks like you were having the Lagunitas Pineapple Sour, and one of the first things we said was it doesn't taste like it's ABV, and that's what we're getting more of. We have the Allagash Victoria up right now, and that's 7.3%, and it tastes like it's in the 4s. It is
really?
It is so easy and smooth and dangerous that they're getting away from, like I was saying, that bitterness and going back to easy drinking, but also finding that sneaky way to disguise where that ABV is.
Right.
Well, I mean, I still wonder because, we're on the East Coast, and New England IPAs are their own thing, but they're really more of a broad spectrum of East Coast IPAs.
Yeah.
And, you still talk to or hear people on the West Coast, and they still want that bitterness. That's their bread and butter, right? Mm-hmm. So I think part of it's also just being here on the East Coast.
Well, there's
there's definitely a trend over here for the more easy drinking because we're going to be doing it all night.
Yeah.
Right.
That's true. Yeah, that's true.
Because we're going to be doing it
all night.
Yeah. And I'm sure all your West Coast listeners right now are like, no, we do it all night.
And if there's good beer, it has to be drank. I mean, that's just the way it is. And it's interesting because the craze went from IPA, double IPAs, sours, sour IPAs. It's like, where do you see kind of what do you think that next trend is?
I don't know. It's kind of like music, where now every genre is mixing. Who knows? Who knows? They're starting to bring back because now it's not just sours. Now the gozes have exploded again.
Right.
Grisettes came back. Saisons are starting to become a bigger thing than they were. They always were, but saisons were always more for, I guess, the more educated drinkers because you understand more what goes into it, and it's not a name that you see more often. You're usually IPA, lager, pale ale.
Right.
I feel like Kolsch is getting another little bump. Like, if you like pilsners or lagers, Kolsch is that
Yeah.
ale that has what you want from that.
Yeah, and it's nice. We're kind of we don't have this, but we have this bar. The whole like yes business
Right.
of want to please everyone. So people will come in and say, hey, do you have Stella? No, we don't have Stella, but we do have the Lagunitas Pilsner. We don't have Blue Moon, but we have the Allagash White, which the Allagash White has become its own staple within the beer community, within the Belgian worlds. But so we have and I love when people come in and they say, do you have a Bud Light or Coors Light? And no, we don't. But we just brought on the Night Shift Pale Lager, and it tastes so similar to that, and it's in the same price point and everything else. So I do like that more people are starting to drink.
And it's a good introduction.
More things.
Start getting them in there. You kind of.
Yeah.
Yep.
Reel
A
it
little
in a
bit.
little
It's
bit.
like, oh, you like that? I might have something else that might be
Right.
up your alley. Like I talk to a lot of people about craft beer, and it was like, oh, I don't like beer. It's like you just haven't found the right beer yet.
Yeah.
Because you're used to Miller, Coors, Bud. Like, I didn't like beer either when I drank that. But
Right.
then when I started tasting a little bit of other options out there, it opened me up to a completely different world.
Right. You're like, I got something similar, only it's good.
Right.
And that's really the way.
Yeah.
That's really the way it is. It's really the way it is. I'm thinking Pilsners are almost sort of making another resurgence. Obviously, everyone knows the classic Czech and German style Pilsners are always going to be, fantastic beers. But I feel like a lot of local breweries now are starting to experiment a little bit more and try to get into the Pilsner game. I know really recently Interboro did that collab with the I forgot the name of the Pilsner, which is going to kill me now. But they recently put out a couple of Pilsners which were really good. And I feel like maybe that, like, looking at older styles and maybe trying to bring them more, in vogue, make them popular again, could be the next wave.
Yeah. To throw a quick pitch in, one of our awesome stellar bartenders who's been here since day one. She also works at 1 Mile House and our sister bar, Madame Marie's. Kira, her sister suffered a tragic spinal cord injury a handful of years ago, leaving her paralyzed. And she's right now on a bike ride going from New York City down to Orlando, Florida.
Wow.
And they're hitting a whole bunch of spinal cord research facilities and meeting with different patients. But it's also very beer focused. It's a lot. They're hitting a lot of different breweries on the way down.
Wow.
And one thing that they did with our awesome friends at Barrier Brewing, which we have on draft right now, it's a beer that they brewed through them that $3 from every beer sold is being donated to spinal cord research. And it's cool. It's the name of the beer is Brew the Right Thing.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's a nice
Like
Kolsch, and it's called a wheelie good Kolsch. So it's based around
like it.
based around bikes and everything
like it.
else, and it's really tasty. They threw some orange zest and everything in there, and it made it like. And I even said to her right when she was brewing it, I said, "Listen, I know you said you guys are going to do a Kolsch, but I really don't like Kolsches, so can you do something else?" And unfortunately, she didn't take my recommendation, and I'm glad she didn't because I really do enjoy this Kolsch, and it's just one of those flavor profiles that it's like, okay, I might not like all Kolsches, but maybe of the more citrus variety. So we have that on, which you guys would definitely have to try before you guys
I
get
was
out of
there
here.
for the event they held for that, and I was happy to see it pop up around town.
At
first I thought it was a
That was
one-off
the
just for
surprising
that
part.
event,
Yeah,
but
it
I
was nice.
very pleasantly surprised to see it popping up around town, so that everybody's getting involved.
That's the nice thing about the beer community too. Everyone is just ready to help. I don't know if it's just that subtle buzz that we always have going on or what, but it's just everyone's just ready to
There's
help,
always a
ready to
level
be
of
friendly.
excitement.
Yeah,
There's
exactly.
everybody for that.
Ready to be there at the you were at the event that they had at 1 Mile House, and it's a great community, and
That's a great
it's
cause,
a great
though,
cause too.
and,
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Definitely great to see, and like you said, the community is always involved with craft beer, and kind of chokes you up a little bit when you really see stuff like that happening, and it's always a good thing.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's nice.
And so I found the collab that I was talking about, Interboro, was with the Sampler BK. It was their Pilsner. It was kind of like the El Presidente style craft beer version. Very good beer.
Wow.
Tell us, Judy and Punch. So tell us, what's the vibe like here? What's the atmosphere like? What should people know who've never been here before?
Yeah. Again, like I said, overall neighborhood. That's when you peel everything else away. Everyone who comes in here is in some way, shape, or form getting away from their life, their job, something just out with friends. And, we're here, we're not just here just to make drinks and count money at the end of the night. It's very much, I'm here to learn your name, learn your backstory. I love it when people come in and it's, hey, how have you been? How was the vacation you just came back from? Blah, 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 blah. And you can carry on an actual conversation. I've worked in various parts of Manhattan where you see a face and you're never going to see it again. And a regular to you might be someone who comes in 2-3 times a month.
Right.
Whereas we have some people who are here 3-4 times a week. So you keep up with their lives just as much as they keep up with yours. And that's definitely like first and foremost keeping it with the neighborhood and being from Astoria and living in Astoria. You can't. If you try to do it a different way, you're done. You're shut down within the first year because it's not going to work. But it's definitely, I always describe it as 2 different bars. It's a weekend bar and it's a midweek bar. The weekends, obviously, Friday, Saturday nights get a little busier. We have the jukebox in the front, so you never know where the music's going.
Oh, you shouldn't have told us that. We're going to fuck the whole shit up.
I know. It's
going to be kicking these guys out in a couple hours.
Yeah.
I know. I have a friend who found out that we have a jukebox, and now all of a sudden we hear Avril Lavigne's Skater Boy a lot more than we used to.
Yeah, you should throw him out.
Yeah. Yeah, we're working on it. But if you look around, it's there's a theme, but it's not in your face. It's a little bit of circus freak show. We're based on the British puppets of Punch and Judy. So, we all kind of, everyone who works here kind of embodies the humor a little bit that those puppets had. And, we're a circus theme in a way, but not in your face. If you look, you can see a little bit of the painting. You know what I mean? Like
the deer head with a fro.
Yeah. Well, that's more in the freak show, and then because we have a couple bearded ladies on the wall and such, but there's a little there's a little there, but not too much. But yeah, it'll have a little crowd on the weekends, but during the week it's nice. It settles down. We do trivia on Tuesday nights, so little small events. But it's nice. I always tell people if you really want to come in and interact and hang out with the bartenders, then come in during the week because that's when we get our chance to really just sit down and just have a conversation.
I see you have the back patio here. How long is that usually open? I mean, obviously weather permitting, but how long do you aim for?
Yeah, as soon as the weather's good until people don't want to sit out back anymore. It's
fair enough. Yeah.
Yeah. If you think about it, it doesn't hamper us anyway having it open.
Right.
So if you want to be outside, I worked yesterday. It was raining yesterday. There were people with umbrellas, and they said, "Do you mind if we stand outside?" No, not at all. Go for it. We'll turn the lights on for you. So yeah, we have the four picnic tables out back, and we close it on the weekends and during the week around 10. Just because if you look, we're surrounded by neighbors, and again, if you piss off your neighbors, everyone who lives above us comes and has drinks here. We have a very good rapport with everyone, and once you start pissing off one, you start to piss off a lot.
Exactly.
Very quickly.
Fair enough. So now, so tell us. So what's the happy hour like here?
So happy hour goes every day. So 7 days a week, and it goes from the time the bar opens and always ends at 8 o'clock. So during the week, it's 4 to 8. On the weekends, it's Saturday and Sunday. It's 2 o'clock to 8. So it's 6 hours long. It's literally a quarter of your day.
Wow.
Yeah, it's almost as long as it's almost as long as they recommend you to get as much sleep that night. So we do all our 16-ounce pints, all well drinks, and 8 different wines are $5. And then we do a beer and a shot special with either PBR or Narragansett and a shot of well, and that's $6, and that goes just through the day.
Wow.
So yeah, so there's
deal.
room. Yeah, it is actually a really good deal, especially when you look at some of the craft beer that we have. That's available for $5 and stuff. Yeah. We had the Sloop Juice Bomb. I don't know if you ever had that. And that's a stellar beer. We had that we just had our 4-year anniversary party a couple weeks ago. So our tap list had a lot of fun beer up there, and that just happened to be one that you were able to come in and get for $5 on happy hour. And I mean, you can't get it for $5 if you go to the brewery. Yeah.
Right.
So, there's a good chance that you can get lucky. And we use an app called Beer Menus that we keep updated. Yeah. So you can go on that and look through and see what's on draft.
How often do you update it?
It should be done as soon as things rotate. But if something kicks off on a Friday night, you know what I mean? Within at least a day or so.
No, because I've gone to places and their shit's not even close.
Right.
So.
Yeah, and we've gotten yelled at by people who come in and they're like, "Oh, damn, you don't have X beer." I was really coming in for that, and it only takes one person to come in for you to know, okay, shit, I gotta stay on this.
It's getting late. I'll do it in the morning.
Yeah,
and then and then all of a sudden,
I had no idea that people got updates and stuff like that. And like I said, it took one time for me to say, "Okay, cool, we won't have that again."
Awesome.
Customer's always right?
Oh yeah, always.
Oh God. Stop.
So now, so you guys also have bottles and cans on premises, correct?
Excuse me.
You guys also have bottles and cans,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So at any given time, between the bottles, cans, and draft lines, how many different beers would you say roughly are available for consumers?
A lot. I mean, we keep it. Like I said, we had we got the pale lager in for the night shifts. We were a little pale ale heavy in the beginning of the year, so we brought in the Lost and Sip of Sunshine IPA and the Knee Deep Breaking Bud. We try to do a beer of the month of sorts, which is just kind of like a rotating can or two that comes through. Right now, it's Montauk Summer Ale. A lot of the locals were asking for that. And then the other one we have is the Original Sin Dry Rosé Cider. We just brought in 2 different sours. So they rotate. We don't usually do IPAs in bottles, just for them to spoil and everything else.
Right.
And they don't usually move. We're going to move an IPA. People usually just want it on draft, at least from what we've seen here. But we have a handful of doubles, stouts, porters, good handful of ciders, especially now. The various heat waves that we hit. So there's definitely something for everyone.
For everybody, yeah.
Definitely something
Right on,
for everyone.
right on. And now, what are some of the breweries locally that are impressing you?
We always have something from Barrier. Single cut can do no wrong to Astoria. It's nice seeing how Long Island City has been popping up like crazy. Yeah, there you go with the shirt from
He got the shirt on.
Yeah, I
LIC.
don't mean to leave anyone out, but I mean the Big Alice and Transmitter. There's just so many that are popping up there,
Sure.
and then other half never lets us down. We did a great event last year. I don't know if you're familiar with the movie The Warriors.
Of course.
So how they do the whole run of them going through all the various boroughs.
Come out to
we
play.
did it right. So we did a Warriors event where we all got the shirts with us like in the Warriors like outfits.
Nice.
So we all wore that, and our entire tap list was only beer from the 5 boroughs.
That's
So,
awesome.
Yeah.
Right.
So we
Nice.
played the movie. We had the music soundtrack from it, and it was neat. And it was so everything from Alphabet City to obviously we had other half and Finback and Bronx and Gun Hill, and it's nice. It's nice. I'm very thankful that I got into the beer community after the New York City brewery boom. That I kind of got into it when it was really exploding.
When you started, there really weren't many breweries around here.
No, I mean it was like Fire Island Fire Island IPA, maybe I think it was. I couldn't remember. Like that was like the big one that I knew. That and Captain Lawrence. Like Captain Lawrence was the god of all local. And now there's just you could just run through a list
left and right, and they're killing it everywhere. I love it.
Yeah, it's nice. It is nice.
New York City beer scene exploded, and I think there's still plenty more room for growth where that came from.
Oh yeah.
So now, you guys got any upcoming events, special events, things like that you want to talk about?
We don't have a specific date for one right now, but obviously with summer unfortunately coming to a close, we're gonna do. We usually do like a Fruits of Summer event, and it's all like various types of like fruit beer or fruit focused or fruit mashed, or something like that. So we usually bring about 8 different ones on there. October's coming up. Obviously, we're going to do a big tour German like Oktoberfest route.
Nice.
It was a couple things in the back of the mind, so we'll see where we go. Nothing set in stone right now, but definitely at least 3 within the next couple months coming up.
And you guys bring in like DJs too from time to time?
No, never have, just because of space reasons. But on Sundays, if you come in, we have DJ Curry Costanzo. He's our.
He sounds great.
Yeah, he is our one of our longest regulars. His other name is Indian J. So that's where the curry and it's
I like it.
the curry, and then it's based off George
I like
Costanza
it.
from Seinfeld. But he sets up. He brings in a big vinyl record player, and on Sundays and you can see how committed to non-committal we are on the sign. It's most Sundays from 2-ish to 6-ish. So you can't come here and be like, hey, I was expecting to hear the music, because we're like, well, we just said it was most Sundays. It's not every Sunday.
Right.
Yeah, so it could be in that time frame, but it is pretty consistent. And he sets up vinyls and does vinyls from every genre, every year for a handful of hours. So no. DJ of sorts, but we do have our very own DJ Curry Costanzo.
That is great. That is hilarious.
Wow.
So, I mean, Perry, any thoughts or questions for Colin?
Nothing I can think of. I mean, vibe's fun. Good beer's on.
Yeah.
I mean, I know you guys have a big cocktail, or not a big cocktail program, but It's a
definitely within,
noted. Is
within the last year,
talk
we've
about that a little bit?
started making it more.
Yeah.
We had a lot of the same stuff on for about 2 years, and not that they were bad, but it was stale. It was stale to the people who were coming in, but it was stale to us too. 2 years you're making the same cocktail and it's the same sign, so It was nice. We redid it. A lot of us had input, and we tested this and tested that, and we went from just having basic things to now I'm making a lavender simple syrup at my house. And learning new things too, branching a little bit out of the beer community and studying more cocktails and what works with what and what's in season, and and focusing on how bitters are made and things like that. That was neat, and having the cocktail sign in my living room and getting to have a couple beers and do that, and then waking up the next day and looking back and saying, I definitely had a couple beers, so let's erase that and start over. Yeah, so the cocktail program might have taken another week to roll out, but it is nice getting back into having a big balance, going back to what I said earlier about the beer, how there's something here for everyone. Like I said, we have 8 wines, Prosecco, we have a cocktail program, bottles, cans, drafts.
A little bit of everything
and free
for
popcorn.
everybody.
Yeah, I mean,
and free popcorn.
Yeah, you can't go wrong with the free
wrong with
popcorn.
that? Unless you have dentures, you're fucked. But besides that, you're good.
Yeah, seriously. Well, take them out.
Do you guys have a signature drink up there for your cocktail program?
I mean, if we had a signature drink, I would say it's probably the Giggle Juice. It's the one that's been there the absolute longest.
Giggle Juice?
Yeah, it's the same one that
like that.
and you know what's it's spelled giggle, but the amount of people that say, "Can I have the Jiggle Juice?" And you'd just be surprised how many girls really want to order a Jiggle Juice.
You know where their mind's at.
You would immediately. But it's good. It's tasty. It's sweet, but not overly sweet. But it's deceptive because it definitely has the most alcohol out of everything.
What's it? Can you talk about what's in it, or is that like a proprietary secret?
No. Everything. I mean, if you look on the list, all the ingredients are listed directly beneath it.
I want to know about the Jiggle Juice, though.
The Jiggle Juice. That one we do not reveal. But no, it's a vodka-based drink. But the nice thing, the majority of our cocktails, they're not specific to the liquor that's in it. Mm-hmm. So if you really love everything else, but you don't want gin, that's fine. You switch it out for another high-end liquor that's appropriate to it.
Interesting. So do you have any gin-focused drinks that you can recommend for degenerate gin drinkers?
Why did you have to ask that question? I'm so fucked.
Well, going back to the lavender simple syrup, it's the stress relief cocktail, and it's very, very simple.
Boy.
It's we use Tanqueray
today,
gin, or
gin
really,
tomorrow.
Whatever gin you want, but Tanqueray gin,
You got that
lavender simple
Bombay?
syrup with
You got
honey.
the Bombay and Sapphire?
Sure. I mean, we have that. Everyone loves the Bombay.
Now you're talking dirty.
Yeah, it's super easy.
Yes, you said lavender simple syrup.
So
you
it's
make at home.
Yeah, it's gin, lavender simple syrup, honey, and jalapeno, and it's nice.
Whoa,
It has
jalapeno,
has
really?
it has a little sweetness to it, and then the jalapeno just kind of comes in like a quick bite at the end.
Kicks you right in the back of the throat.
Right?
Yeah.
That's the stress relief. Yeah. It lets you cry and complain about it for a little bit, and then just gives you a kick in the ass and welcomes you back to reality.
That's awesome.
That sounds actually really interesting.
You guys have a lot of things going on here.
Yeah, we tried.
I love it.
It's good stuff.
Yeah.
It's good stuff. So now, what are the? You touched on it a little bit, but what are the hours of operation for the bar?
So during the week, we open up at 4:00 Monday through Friday, and Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday we won't close before 2:30, just because.
Right.
I mean, stay open till at least then. Thursdays, 3:00 at the earliest, and then the weekends always 4:00. But I mean, those are just kind of like open times. If there's people here, we're not kicking anyone out. We're not asking. Exactly.
Right.
Even if there's 3 people sitting in the back having a drink, there's still people here. No, again, going back to the whole neighborhood vibe, neighborhood feel, we're not kicking you out. And because also the nice thing is we all live in Astoria, so it's not like we're trying to kick anyone out because damn, I have to go hit my 2 transfers. No, it's exactly.
Yeah.
Well, whatever. I only have a 10-minute walk home, so sit and hang out for as long as you want. It's
right on.
It's again neighborhood as we can make it.
And if people want to learn more, what's the best way to find you guys? Website, social media?
Yeah, social media is what we do have a website, but Facebook and Instagram. Instagram probably more than Facebook. Facebook does anything that goes on Instagram can go on Facebook, but whatever goes on Facebook can't go on Instagram type thing.
Right.
Sure. So the Facebook is we'll put our events and things up there, but any new cocktails, any events, like when Kira did the bike ride, we did that on Instagram and stuff like that. And there are if we have focal banger or something rare from Hill Farmstead or something from Maine, we won't put it on the menu because we'd rather just put it on there, and then people who know us will come in and have it. But also it's the monkey see, monkey do effect of if you put it on a sign and you come in and you're drinking the IPA and what's that? Yeah, I'll have one too. Yeah, I want you to have that good beer, but I also want that beer to be saved for someone who comes in and is like, oh my gosh, like, and really understands the beer and can really appreciate it and isn't just drinking it as fast as they can to to get to their end game.
So now, what's something that people don't know about Judy and Punch that they should?
One of our owners almost died when we opened.
Holy shit!
So let's hear about that.
When you first asked, I was like, I don't think I can. Like we're like it's what you see is what you get. We're all very, but the garage door in the front, when we were putting that in, one of the planes of glass broke down, and he went to catch it and got a full slice.
Oh,
so he has a nice hefty scar, and spent some time with some stitches.
Wow.
But yeah.
Wow.
So that a little behind the scenes that.
All right,
the good majority
Beer Today, Beer Tomorrow exclusive.
Wouldn't know. Yeah, right. So
there you go.
Good to have Mike still with us.
It's a labor of love for Mike,
But
man. Shout out to Mike.
But we'll get a lot of people that come in and try to play the trivia game with us of, hey, I grew up in this neighborhood. Do you remember what this used to be? And it used to be a DVD store.
No shit.
Yeah, it was an old school DVD store, and that's the original bathroom. And the larger bathroom that we have that we built in is the old porn section.
Nice.
So
Perfect.
You still play with your dick,
I
but
go
it's
in
now
there,
it's
can I make
completely
donations?
behind.
Yeah,
Of course.
Is it appropriately themed to its?
No, it should be. I wish we had all the old DVD sleeves, and that's what we
Seriously.
just put up on the wall or
All
something.
over
That
the
would be
wall.
great.
That's
Yeah.
the wallpaper.
Oh my god! Imagine.
Yeah.
Wow, DVD stores.
Yeah, man. Taking it
What
back.
happened to Blockbuster?
I still have a couple of their DVDs. Actually, no, I'm sorry, not DVDs. That's not true. That did not exist. I have their VHSs. Yeah.
VHSs,
I
yeah.
Still with the
I
sticker
think
on it
there's
that
only
says
one
please
left
return.
in the country, so you'd have quite a trip to fix that.
That's it. Yeah.
Oh,
My
man.
fines by now must be through the roof.
Oh my god, you're bankrupt.
You can bring them back.
I'll never own a home. I'll never own a home.
Handedly.
Don't worry, they're bankrupt. You're fine. Man, so honestly, this is an awesome spot. If you guys listening haven't been here, what are you waiting for? Come on down. Astoria, Queens, got a lot to offer. This Judy and Punch is one of the many great places here in Queens. Great craft beer bar. What else can we say? I mean, drink local, drink fresh, repeat.
Always.
Yeah.
All day, every day.
There you go.
You don't need to take a 35, 40-minute train ride to go to a good spot. You can find them in your
You
own
have it
neighborhood.
right here
Yeah.
in your own backyard.
Yeah.
That's
and you're
right.
going to spend half as much.
Yeah.
There you go. And on that note, what could be better than that? So, Colin, thank you so much.
Yeah, this is a blast. Thanks, guys.
Thanks for hopping on the show.
Glad to have you.
Yeah, man. Like we said, drink local, drink fresh, repeat. Beer today, beertomorrow.com. That's about it. See ya.
Peace.
Cheers.